Welcome back to our series. We are titling Fun Accounting. And in this entry, we're going to look at the copay and deductible reimbursement benefit. Once again, this was one of those items that caught my attention as I was a member of the Finance Committee as part of the Board of Directors of our school district. So let's start here with an email. This is from the attorney who was brought in after I'd asked some questions about the HRA program. In the highlighted red part, feel free to press pause and read on your own, but pretty much states that the district has been paying a tax-free benefit, which is actually additional taxable wages to the employee. In order to pay these reimbursements tax-free, you need to have an HRA plan in place, or else you're outside of the guidance and you're not within compliance with the IRS. Stated another way, district can't do this without the official HRA plan, of which was not in place for how long, who really knows. So let's take a look at the legal recommendation that we get. In the red, I'll say here, the tax attorney decided this was pretty much a technicality. As you'll see here, nobody outside the IRS or tax lawyers such as themselves would have caught on to this, except for someone like myself with extensive financial background, anybody with an HR background, anybody with a payroll tax background, any tax accountant with that background, or numerous other roles out there of which would have exposure to such a plan and benefits that are offered, and may have recognized that this one looked a little bit awry. And in the final legal opinion, in order to pay the reimbursement to the married teachers, deductibles, copays, and qualify for tax-free treatment, you'd have to have this HRA plan in place. Now, remember, there was no HRA plan in place up until this point, but so all these tax-free dollars being paid out to the employees actually should have been paid on a taxable basis. But let's look at what some of these are. So here's one right here that actually looks like, from an accounting standpoint, is pretty well done as far as making sure it goes to the right spot. A couple items here was this was one that actually caught my attention because this employee actually is neither a teacher nor are their spouse, and so neither one of them actually work within the schools as an educator, but still benefit here. So maybe part of the contract for this one individual, but would not fall under the teacher contract. But when you look at the actual accounting, it looks to be pretty straightforward. It's an employee benefit for regular employees, which this person is. It's system-wide. They do work system-wide. It is reimbursed copays and deductibles. But this caught my attention. This is really why I started dating my signatures. You notice that the invoice date is July the 8th, and the check cut date is June the 30th. So check cut before the invoice came in. Interesting. Caught my eye. May have caught yours if you're in the same position and were actually reading the transactions of the warrants as you went through to sign those. Now, if we look at this one right here, this is actually pretty darn close to accurate, except for the part that these were being paid out without an HRA. But if you look at this one, you have reimbursement, copay, and deductibles, two different time frames here for two different people. One's a teacher in our secondary Hammond Academy, and the other one at one of our elementary schools. When you look at how this is coded, it's pretty darn close to how it should be coded, considering the type of, if this was being run correctly. And then one thing did catch my eye on these as well. You see the date of the July 21st for the invoice that came in, but the check had already been cut back on June 30th. Very interesting. But these two would qualify for the plan. Now, here come two of my favorite, or three favorite transactions with two different employees. And once again, nothing against any of these employees. This is a benefit that the district was trying to do. It's a benefit. We have great benefits at the place in which I work, and I know a lot of employers do provide great benefits to their employees, and it's a part of the compensation package that you get. So once again, this has nothing to do with the employees themselves. This is our district's inability to accurately, once again, handle the finances of our district. So here we have a couple of folks, copays and deductibles. It's called something different each way a little bit, but that's okay. Over here you have school administrators from our secondary, Hammond Academy, may or may not still work in the district. This one here, you can see general fund overhead, student guidance services. Okay, that's interesting. Employee benefits for professionals. Okay, they are professionals from Smith School, one of our elementary schools. So we're paying out a benefit to a administrator in one of our secondary schools, but we're taking it and actually accounting for it out of a line item that would be for our teachers in our elementary school. Very interesting. And people tell us our teachers' benefits cost a lot. Well, if you add into that the benefits of the administrators, I can see why. But here comes one of my favorite codings that I saw while I was doing all of this work. This one right here, this administrator's benefits are being paid directly to them. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Out of the general fund, K through 2 program, regular instruction, instructional supplies, employee benefits for professionals, McGraw. Great benefit to our K through 2 McGraw students by getting their instructional applies from the employee benefits for professionals. Well, now let's take a little bit closer look at this coding. So you see this one here, the 52080, get rid of the first, the second, and you have 2080. And you see on the red part, these are benefits for regular employees, amounts paid on behalf of the employees, on behalf of. So as you see in the red, such friends benefits payments, and although not paid directly to the employees, nevertheless part of the cost of personal services. Well, these were paid directly to the employees. It's in their names. We have the checks right here in their bank accounts on the back where they were deposited. And then you also have this one, the 2010, and this is the same thing, except this is the professionals versus the regular employee. And once again, although not paid directly to employees, nevertheless part of the cost of personal services. Once again, paid directly to the employees. So what do we have here? We have a program that's being run outside of compliance of the IRS. We have taxable wages being paid out as tax-free wages. We have a benefit that's supposed to be paid on behalf of an employee being paid directly to that employee. We have employees that don't technically qualify for the program getting the benefit from the program, and we have administrators' benefit being accounted for under teacher lines within our elementary schools. Well, other than that, I think we're pretty darn accurate when you say. So once again, it's amazing how much fun you can have with accounting within our district, and we want to keep these short. But until next time, when we look at the contingency funds,